No, nothing is on.
Hello. Yes, hi. My name is Christina Delfico, and I am here on behalf of the Roosevelt Island Youth Program, specifically the iDig2Learn initiative program. So I'm just going to read to you the mission statement for the youth program and then also for iDig2Learn. So Roosevelt Island Beacon and Youth Program is a nonprofit organization dedicated to the bright, educated, and athletic children of New York. And for many years, the Beacon and Youth Program have offered an array of activities for children to engage in to properly flourish their constant developing minds. And this is also part of their mission is to provide year-round programming for youth and provide a safe haven. And I am the program leader for iDig2Learn initiative. iDig2Learn is a hands-on enrichment program where children learn science, math, and healthy food through plant life. It's a standalone additional enrichment offering. And we focus on educational offerings that incorporate healthy eating habits, as well as physical movement and environmental learning. iDig2Learn has served hundreds of island children in a real-world setting with educational sessions that excite children about fresh food while they are learning the science of living systems. We also do science garden educational sessions at the youth center and wrap in curriculum and host special projects to beautify the neighborhood that all of the residents look upon. We also focus on bringing together island groups such as the Girl Scouts, the Roosevelt Island Garden Club, local businesses and parents, RI Parents Network, and others to build bridges and confidence between groups and connections and community pride. The reason that iDig2Learn uses the gardens for teaching is because plants are an exciting thing to watch grow, and a lot of times city kids aren't able to get their hands in the dirt and actually touch living things. So this is an opportunity to allow children to get dirty, to get their hands in the soil, and also through that, the plants, you can think of them as the hook that gets them excited about science and healthy eating, as well as their environment and living systems. Part of the need for an iDig2Learn program, you may know that there is a nationwide obesity problem, and when you expose children to fresh fruits and vegetables, they like to eat fresh fruits and vegetables, and if they grow it, they will eat it. So that is one of the areas that we aim to address. Another thing that I am sure you're aware of, United States students lag in science and math and engineering. And by challenging students to problem solve and work in teams and communicate with hands-on projects, you are allowing them to experience and have memorable experiences together that as they advance through school and choose their careers. Also, another thing that has come up is something called a nature deficiency disorder. And this is when children aren't able to get out in nature as often as they should. And basically the thought behind this and the studies have shown that if children lose touch with nature and their natural surroundings, they miss out on the calming elements inherent in the outdoors. Most importantly, and I have just a visual here where you can see some of the children working in the outdoors with plants, but there are a few very significant things about children who participate in garden-based learning. One is that the studies show they score significantly higher on science achievement tests compared to students who have not had any experience in garden-based learning activities. Also, children who participate in garden-based learning like iDig2Learn's program are interested in science and careers in science. They also have more positive attitudes about environmental issues. They have a greater interest in eating fruits and vegetables, and they have increased interest for the overall improvement of their neighborhood appearance, which ties into ecology and into our environment. And I'll just add one other thing, that the philosophy behind iDig2Learn is to unite communities around the idea that children benefit greatly from their time out in nature, and that if we work together to create green spaces, children and their families can explore science, math, and develop healthy eating habits. And also, building school gardens and other green spaces together create common interests while strengthening bonds of friendship in a very diverse community for years to come. And I've had the privilege of watching what I'll call the iDig2Learners graduate, and the alum, and they literally will bring along the next generation and share what they know. So we're working with school-age children. As they graduate through, they are more apt to participate in the community. And I'm just going to show you a few images here with the children working, and then mention some really terrific other initiatives that iDig2Learn is behind and supports. One thing is just under the heading Urban Renewal. And basically, the Roosevelt Island Youth Center, you can see a before picture and an after picture. Yes. And then also another thing that iDig2Learn works on is environmental stewardship with tree care. And you'll see some images of that. And then we also have many local partnerships for Earth Day and the Daffodil Project, where we collaborate with organizations we may not have known before, but through common missions we connect. And then I'll just flip this over, because to me, this is the most fun, is just to see children delighted and engaged when they have permission to explore in nature. And this young girl is just marveling at how a very small seed can become a huge fennel plant. And so you have awakened all the senses when the children are outdoors. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Let me start with a couple of questions, and I'm going to then ask my panel members if they might want to have a question as well. And I will, so the very first question is, what is unique about your program as compared to similar programs that are on the island? And also you can include in the answer, and you've touched upon it, I think, in your briefing, but for the sake of redundancy, and then holistically, just the benefits to the Roosevelt Island in light of, and if you are in synergy with other groups on the island. So in what way are you unique, and in what way are you alike?
Well, I think I'm unique because of what I bring to the table. Having been an executive producer of Sesame Street for over 2 decades, dealing with children and simple, clear ways to learn, I've garnered a lot of unique experience on how to convey and excite young people, or as Queen Latifah would call them, the shorties. That's something that's a little different, what I bring to the table. Also, I am an avid gardener for many, many years, so I bring that, and a science, I'm educated in science, so I'm bringing together children, science, gardening, and then to lead into your other question, The best part of iDig2Learn is that we have found groups locally on the island, since I'm locally based, that have never had the opportunity to work together before. And we have been able to bridge these relationships and then step back and watch them flourish. And I'll just give you one example. The school was, for one reason or another, not participating in the Roosevelt Island Garden Club for several years. And then when I said I wanted to give some free sessions under the guise of an inspirational tour at the community garden, they said, oh, we can't get in there, we can't get in there. And I said, we'll get in there. So we reconnected with the president, who was delighted, as was the secretary and other garden leadership. And from that moment on, not only iDig2Learn, but I would say 3 or 4 other groups have been able to utilize the garden at the community garden for preschoolers and nursery school kids, school age, and after school. So that's just one example, but I do work with Home Depot and Costco and Starbucks and Gristedes and with many, many islands organizations, including RIYP. We have a partnership, so that once we're connected that way, we can hear of other opportunities. One example is that through my Trees New York relationship, we'll be able very soon to have 5 fruit trees donated to Roosevelt Island, and we'll tie that in with educational curriculum, where Trees New York will not only be giving fruit trees to the island that for many years to come can help the island's community, but also they will give sessions for young people to learn about tree stewardship, what it means to plant a tree and care for it. And you have to remember, all of these children are small and growing. So when they see a seed and watch it grow as a plant, that's the reflection of them. So in every flower and plant, they see themselves having an opportunity to grow. So I don't know if that answers your question. Is that?
Well, I think so, and I'm going. In just a moment, I'll let my colleagues ask you a question. They might have a different take on that. So, but let me ask one other. Does iDig2Learn itself have a budget? Do you have a budget in iDig2Learn? Because you're sponsored under the youth program. So how does your budget work? And is it related in any way to that of the youth program?
My budget is around $25,000 to $30,000 a year, and this is what I work on to get in other grants to operate and do what I want to do. Some years I hit that goal, some years I do not hit that goal. As far as allocations, the youth center, this would be an enrichment program for them, and these funds are being requested specifically for the iDig2Learn program. But that all goes through the youth center.
Okay, let me have Erin. Would you like to ask a question?
I see that there's a lot of work done with ESIS 217 as well as the youth center. I'm just wondering, so does the youth center has a lot of money? It's had support from RIYP, it has support from DYCD. Why is it that you need to have additional money? Is there not money that Charlie can find within the budget to support this wonderful enrichment program, which is something that's a fantastic addition to the services that the youth center has offered? I'm just wondering
No, this is above and beyond.
Then what could be expected from the youth center? I mean, you know.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I'm just wondering why the youth center is not supporting this monetarily, since it is such a wonderful enrichment program and it's out of the youth center.
I think their dollars are committed to so many other things, sports and music and multiple programs that they run. I mean, they have a very full selection. So this is above and beyond, and they were wonderful enough to allow it to flourish and grow in their space. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
percentage of Roosevelt Island children specifically that take part in this compared to off-island children?
Well, we are really lucky to do a couple of things. We are able to serve children on the island. Primarily, it was for Roosevelt Island children, and that's really who we serve. And in addition, and we do serve Roosevelt Island children, which is terrific, and they are the majority. However, working with the school and also the Beacon program, we are able to additionally serve some folks from Queens. So that's a really nice addition. But the majority are Roosevelt Island students and children and their families, and then all of the beautification work and the environmental events are completely and directly benefiting the residents.
Would you know the percentage of the children, the off-island versus on-island?
No, I would have to look into that number, but I believe that it's over 75% Roosevelt Island.
So you mentioned the youth center offering the year-round programming for the youth, but in your application you say that your specific program would basically operate now in the fall for the harvest, and then again starting in April 2016. So sadly we are almost done with the harvest and the gardening supportive weather for now. Are there any activities specifically from your program that are planned before April 2016?
Well, right now we do focus on fall, spring into early summer, because in the dead of winter it's quite hard to get to the plants, although I would like to develop a winter curriculum and thinking about that right now. But for now it's fall, spring, and summer. And I am actively, aggressively campaigning and garnering awards and grants from other sources because of the schedule of how the funds come in. And that is always, I think, any small initiative or group's bane of their existence is to get the flow of funding to be steady and constant so that everything can be paid for.
One more question. From the list of required materials, when I see it correctly, you chose not to provide a list of staff or any letters of support from the community. Would you like to comment on that? Why not?
Oh, I did. You didn't get it? I have one copy.
Is this on the staffing? The staffing? Well, it's not staffing. 11. Qualifications, you're the director of the program director, right? So are you the one who the salary is, are there other people that are working directly with the children, or is that your role?
So as project leader, I am the one who develops the curriculum and works closely with everyone to run the sessions. However, I am working with many, many people, including educators, the executive director of the youth center, guides the ideas and concepts, and then also I'm relying on men locally from the community who I hire to do some of the labor and the work, and part of one of the mission goals is to hire local people and provide them with job opportunities.
So the salary goes to, I mean, how is the salary, how is this money that you're asking for, how does that break down in the salary piece?
Right, so then the salary, there's a fee for the project leader, and it breaks down into sessions and how many days are estimated for fall and for spring. And then there are consultants there, and that line is for anyone who is helping to construct vertical gardens or repair all the garden boxes or whatever needs to be done. And then there are supplies, which include things like, the more we have for supplies, we can give away books to each child, like this one, and that's what we've been doing. We also have heard the call to make sure that children are good at writing, so we provide them with a journal that allows them to write and draw. And then we've also been focusing on using their journals for public speaking and practicing putting their thoughts together and being able to convey what their team worked on and their science results.
Okay, we're going to have to move to the audience, but I'd like just to take the liberty to ask a general question. Do you feel in any way that your program is benefiting Public School 217 in terms of students who are applying and want to enter that program? Do you feel you're enhancing the public school program just by an awareness of your efforts? I don't know if that's a fair question or not. I'm just...
I think it's a great question. I personally think that any child I can touch with the group and the team, when I say me, the whole team behind iDig2Learn, they are going to grow and in very positive ways. So residents many of them are students at the public school. They are also part of the Beacon after school groups. They're also part of Girl Scouts or other clubs. So I think that I'm pleased to say, since 2012, when this started, we're in the 3rd year, we just keep growing and growing, and the children love it, and their parents stop me and say, my son can't stop speaking about zucchini. So I think we're having an effect.
Okay, thank you, Liz. Any questions from the audience, please? Ron?
I do. I wrote my questions out. Please explain how iDig2Learn used previous public purpose grants to leverage other private or public money for the benefit of the island community, and how do you plan to use the 2015 grant to leverage additional funding for iDig2Learn?
These are tremendous questions. Thank you so much, Ron, for putting this together. I started iDig2Learn, the initiative, in 2012 with one simple grant from Grow New York City, Grow to Learn. And I was able to approach the Youth Center Executive Director and say, if I get this grant, do you want to play and put together something? And he said, yes, and go meet the school, because we all have a need. So from that moment where I got that first grant, I had tremendous cooperation from the community for space, in-kind help, and as Dave had said earlier, all people who are working with initiatives or groups or nonprofits, it's all about the funding. Once you get one grant, you absolutely leverage that to others. And I've been the proud recipient of the top 10 finalists for TEDx Manhattan for changing the way we eat. I've also been awarded grants from Citizens Committee New York City, as well as a 100-year organization called City Gardens of New York City, City Gardens Club of New York City. And through those relationships, I'm introduced to other relationships. So the answer is absolutely yes. Every grant you get in the past helps to expand, and I've only applied once for public purpose funds and was really thrilled to be a recipient and garner those funds, and was able to expand double the amount of people I was able to affect. Thank you.
Okay, other questions?
Yes, that question had 2 parts. How do you intend to use the 2015 grant to leverage funding going forward?
Yes, as I mentioned, if I'm awarded the $15,000, it will continue to increase the reach that we have, and it also helps me to use that to go and get more up into the $30,000 budget for the year.
I have another question, if I may.
Yes, I see this, and this is really RIYP's mission.
Please explain how.
Yes, go ahead.
Please explain how the 2015 grant to your organization aligns with RIYP's mission, purpose, duties, and authority.
Well, what's tremendously exciting about RIYP and their mission is that they are responsible for developing Roosevelt Island. So it is a direct match, and I am thrilled to be a part of it. Very honored to have been a recipient once and hope to be again. And part of developing an island and being responsible for its development includes the people who live here and providing services back for the senior center, the historical society, and I hope, as I stand here before you all today, educating and exciting children about science through plants.
Christine, let's see, since there are a couple minutes left, I have one question, although I wrote this question some time ago and I'm not sure that I remember exactly what I was after. The question I wrote is, why free? Aren't there donations / other dollars? I picked that up from the application, but I can't remember what triggered that question. But does it trigger anything to you?
Yes, absolutely. One thing I really wanted is to provide a free program and be inclusive of every income level. This may have been my Sesame Street training, but we really wanted to be inclusive. And I took that to iDig2Learn, and I really did not want to charge or have a membership. I wanted every child and their families to be eligible to participate, because you never know who's going to be our next science that's going to figure out how to change salt water into water, and I just want to reach everyone, and free was very important. Even the events I do, I will go to building developers and other folks to help with supplies and or cover it with my own funds, because I want it to be free. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you for helping me remember why I asked it. Judy?
Christina, you're like me. You get someone who helps you. I mean, aside from the day-to-day, aside from seeing you running around the island with a shovel on your shoulder, do you have other people who are steady volunteers and stuff that help out? I mean, paid or unpaid, aside from some laborers, So you can take it from another check to another check.
I have so many people helping me, and I used to think I could do everything by myself, and I know that's not true. And one of the greatest excitements to combine the children's media and the science and the gardening knowledge is being able to meet all these different groups of people. And yes, I couldn't do this by myself. The executive director of the youth center has been like a maverick of ideas. The PTA presidents have given everything that they can to help, past and present. RIYP has continued to say yes for all of my crazy initiatives, and even you have said yes. So I would say at least 100 or 150 people I can tap into at any time, and I'm thrilled to make those relationships. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.